Thank you everyone for joining us. Good morning, Kent. How are you doing?
Good morning.
We have got Kent Jacquay from Index Resource Center on with us today, and we've had Kent on, I don't know, at least a handful of times. We've got well over 50 agents, I believe, using your software to
I think it's
do a
closer
number
to
of
8
things.
now.
It's closer to 80. Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
lot of people, but we've got a bunch of agents that are using your software to help them with their reviews, with clients, to help them make better decisions when allocating, and to really maximize some opportunity with some of the product that's exclusive here at IAMS. And so we're excited to have you on, Kent, now to talk not only about Indexalyzer in general, but about some of the new tools and how people are leveraging those to really separate themselves from other advisors that they may have that they may be competing with, to be honest, and also just some new tools to really help make better, more informed decisions for clients and get into more comfortable conversations down the road. So really excited to have you today, Kent. I'm just going to spend a minute. I'm Matt Sabala, one of our annuity sales directors here at IAMS. I'm just going to spend a minute real quick on our little intro that we do here for IAMS. We'll keep it short, but 38 years ago now, Charles Hiring, for some of you that have been around long enough to know Charlie, he started IAMS on a foundation of service. He's just a good dude all around, and really put the importance of providing top level service as priority A for our advisors. You guys are our clients. You know that when you call into IAMS, you're going to get somebody answering the phone right away. You're always going to get a live person. We do our very, very best to make sure any issues you have are handled very promptly, immediately in most cases. But we have put service at the forefront of what we do here at IAMS. And I'll hit on that in a little bit more detail. But that's always, our first foot forward is our commitment to service. One of the reasons people really like to work with us is the fast start that you can get as a new producer with us. So during your first 6 months contracted with us, there are these thresholds that you can meet up to $1 million, starting with 100,000. FI business counts dollar for dollar. Life business usually counts around 10 to 1 here. But at these different levels, we want to help a producing agent keep their sales funnel full for the remainder of 2024 and beyond. So if you hit any of those levels during your first 6 months, and I've had many people hit that $1 million level, then what we do is invest in your practice heavily. And if you hit that $1 million level, I had several people do that. We put on a few seminars for them, or we in some cases, we bought face-to-face marketing programs. One of them that we're having a lot of success with right now, just ask people if they've had a concern about the performance of their annuity contract, and if they do, well, we get them in touch with an advisor that can help find a better situation for them. And that's been a real successful face-to-face marketing program. But anyway, the point is, we want to get you into marketing that's going to keep your sales funnel full over the course of the next 6 months to a year. And we want to invest in our advisors that show that they can close business. So if you hit any of those thresholds, we would love to sit down with you and talk about, some marketing that may be working for you already. In that case, we don't want to fix what's not broken, but we can also recommend some programs that are working well for us, and we want to pay for it if you're writing business with us on those levels. Just like you guys, the best way to get a new client, I should say, is from a referral typically. And so if you refer somebody to us, we are going to pay you $50 when they first get contracted, and we'll pay you an override whenever they write business with us. That's where the real money kicks in. If you write a $100,000 annuity policy, or one of the people that you referred to us did, you're going to get $200 on that, and that continues indefinitely. We've got people who write millions of dollars, so we're referrals from other agents, and man, that's a great source of kind of a second income coming in. You can make thousands and thousands of dollars that way. Our ownership here writes checks every month for tens of thousands of dollars because of referrals. It's a great way to kind of have a downline without having the liability and sometimes the headache that an agency can give you. That being said, we don't have a slide to talk about it, but we are very, very well versed in agencies and setting up an agency model. In fact, me and one other of our annuity sales directors here have spent most of our careers working with agencies. So if you do have questions about how to set up a downline and earn within a hierarchy, I'd be happy to help you with that. But we love for a referral. Anytime you guys are willing to provide that, if you think we're giving you good service, we will definitely do the same for anybody that you refer to us. So 3 areas that I think we do really, really well, and I'll be quick with these. One area is back office support. I've been around the block. Kent has been around the block even more so. We are 2 veterans in the IMO space. Some provide really good back office support. I tell people put us on your staff but not on your payroll. Some don't. But we have people who understand what each carrier requires in terms of what sort of expectations you need to have with suitability, how to head off any sort of obstacles before you encounter them. Our sales support team understands that, and they're going to help us scrub your business before it gets to the carriers. But also, when something does come up, we're going to do our best to stay in front of that business for you so you stay in front of your clients. And so we have Michelle and her team on the life side, and we have Mackenzie and her team on the annuity side. All they do, and we've got a team of over a dozen people, all they do all day is take that stuff off of our advisors' plates. Very, very good at that. I've seen what the biggest group in the industry has to offer there, and it pales in comparison to the level of service that our sales support staff offers. Our IAMS website is a very good resource to all sorts of stuff. Annuity rate watch, if you're familiar with that, comparison tools to make sure that you're offering the best products, best guaranteed income for a client, best MIGA rate. It's all just at the tips of your fingers, but also our sales resource library. It's just bringing on a PNC shop the other day. Hadn't written a whole lot of annuity business, but they've got a huge list of clients that could benefit from financial services. And we just went on our sales resource library, found some pieces that worked really well within the sort of drip campaign that they're wanting to implement with current clients, just to say, here's another opportunity that we can help you with. You know, we've protected your car and your home. Let's do the same for your retirement. And we're already seeing business on that. So we've got great resources on our website like that can help you take your practice to the next level. If you have not had a walkthrough of our website, please get with your annuity or life sales director like me, Matt Sabala, to make sure that you know of the resources that are on there and that you're comfortable navigating that and using those resources, because there's some really, really good stuff there. Okay, EAP solutions. Just a click away on our website. If you're not using electronic submittal, guys, you're wasting time. You're making it more difficult on yourself, more difficult on your clients. It only takes a couple of minutes to learn how to use one of these, and we'll walk you through it. But just make sure you're giving Firelight and iPipeline a shot. If you haven't done that, please let us know. Get with your annuity or life sales director again, and we'll make sure you're comfortable there. But it gets your business submitted more easily, and it's going to be easier for us to process it here at IAMS, but also the carriers to process, and you'll get paid more quickly and more efficiently. All right, second thing I think we do really well. Remember I said there were 3 things. Second thing is creative services. So we've got a team of people on our creative marketing team that all they do is work in financial services. So they understand the language, the compliance that you need, and it's not a profit center for us. So if you need business cards, if you need stationery, letterhead, if you want to be on the radio, on TV, we do it all for our advisors and everything in between. But we do it in a way that is going to be very easy to work with. We understand what it is you're looking for, and it's going to be less expensive than going to a marketing firm down the street. So if you have not had your annuity or life sales director sit down with you and go through a marketing analysis, it is one of the best resources that you have available to you here at IAMS. We will sit down with you, and most importantly, we'll help you identify your goals for this year, the next 90 days, next 6 months, next year, and help you put a plan in place by backing into what that goal is and what sort of marketing it's going to take for you to achieve those goals. If you have not had that creative marketing, Kent, I'm getting a little feedback. You think maybe that's coming through your speakers?
Let me try to mute real quick.
Yeah. Just started. That's strange. Anyway, yep, that seems to have fixed it. Thanks, Kent. But if you have not had us sit down and perform that creative marketing solution for you, we would love to do that, and we'll give you a whole custom marketing plan to help you pick and choose things that will be good to implement within your practice. Really, really valuable free service that we offer. This talks a little bit about it here. This is a new slide we just added. I forgot we had that, so I've already talked about that. I'm going to glaze over IAMS Wealth Management. We've got fiduciaries backing you up every step of the way. You ever need somebody to have a conversation with you and your clients that you don't feel like you can have, maybe as an insurance-only producer, or you are interested in earning your 65 and tapping into the benefits that having a securities license could provide you, which I think is very substantial, then let us know. Our IAMS Wealth Management team can help with all of that. Third thing I think we do very, very well is our Life and Annuity Academy, guys. We had several of these this year. Kent was out speaking at, I think, all of them this year, but maybe not the life insurance one, but we offer training from other advisors, and this is the main point to me, that are at the very apex of the industry. They're top advisors, they've been successful, and all they're doing is sharing their best practices, their sales processes with you, so you can implement some of those ideas into your practice and reach higher levels of success. You also have one-on-one time with those folks, and you have great partners like Kent with Indexalyzer that are offering differentiators as far as some of the tools and marketing that you have to reach new people and be more effective with the new clients that you brought in the door. So really good opportunity with our Life and Annuity Academy. If you would like to get out to our next one, we do require, a certain level of production to make it out to these academies, but we would love to have you out. Our next one will be in the spring. If you are interested in attending, I accidentally clicked one too many times. If you're interested in attending, I was going to launch a poll. Let me know. I'll make sure we reach out and have a conversation with you about how to get you there. I'm just about done here, folks. We're big on repaying our advisors for all their hard work. We have an annual trip that we do. The next one is going to be in Quebec, a real high-end resort. When we put people up in these trips, and we have kind of a fraternal group that goes out to them, it seems like, on an annual basis. It's a great opportunity to learn from other people who are at the top of their game as well. And it takes about 5 million points to qualify for this one, so that's usually dollar for a dollar annuity production. I will say, though, we do run promotions throughout the year. Right now we're running one. Any Athene business, any Athene FIA business counts as double. So really great opportunity to get yourself qualified for our next trip. And it's a great time. A good group of people make it out there every year, and a good opportunity, like I said, to network and gain, some new ideas that are going to help you to continue to be successful in your practice. So that's my part of it. Like and follow us on Facebook and LinkedIn if your if your clients don't have the ability to do that with your practice. Make sure they do. It may not be important to you personally, but having a presence on social media can be very, very important to your clients and a great way to stay in front of them. So when they do have an opportunity to make a decision on who they want to work with, your name is coming to mind. It's very inexpensive to do, and we can help you make sure that you have that presence, even if you don't want to lift a finger and do anything on Facebook or LinkedIn. We can do it for you. So with that, Kent, talk about why everybody's here.
All right. Let me get my screen shared here. Let's see. I think it's that one there. There we go. So are you seeing the Alyzer map?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Well, thank you for having me on, Matt. Guys, we're going to talk a lot about the the whole platform here with Eliza today. We're going to do a little 30,000-foot view, and then we're going to focus in on one of the new and exclusive programs that we've created for just IAMS agents. So I want to start out with Indexalyzer. Indexalyzer is our flagship product. If you look at these little tags here at the top, it says for point of sale. So what
Hey,
Indexalyzer?
Kent, one thing
Yeah,
I just want to mention to everybody, while Kent's going through this, it can be a little overwhelming because there's so much good information here. We do a bi-weekly training webinar on this also, where we take a deep dive into each of these areas, and just make sure that you are 100% comfortable using any of this software. So sorry about that. I just want to
oh, it's okay.
make sure everybody know.
Absolutely. So Indexalyzer is a great point of sale tool. So let's say that you're writing, since you mentioned a theme, let's say you're writing a Performance Elite 10. You would simply put in your case data, your premium, your state, your age, and then you select the theme and then the actual product, and you just hit view report. And what's inside these reports? Now imagine you're at point of sale, you're taking an app. You know, applications have basically two really tough pages. You got the suitability, which I think is the toughest page, and then the allocation page. I know how a lot of you guys think. I've sold index annuities. I sold my first one back in 1997. So I've been doing this a long time. That allocation page, you know, today we've got over 200 indexes that we track, you know, hundreds of products. It's really, really tough. But this is going to make it really easy. So first thing we put on there is explanations of each one of the indexes. So by doing that, if you get a question, you know, what is the AI Power Global Opportunities, or what is UBS Innovative Balance? You have a quick blurb right on the report so you can speak intelligently about it. And then if they need more, I'm going to show you where you can get more resources about the indexes here in a second. But here's the big part of it, the strategy breakdown. So what this does is it takes into account every aspect of the strategies, the bonus, the fee, the par rates, the index, obviously, the reset periods. And what it does is it runs a 10-year historical return. Now, I want to talk about these returns because obviously taking 20.71% out and showing a client is kind of ridiculous. It's not setting the right expectations. And what you have to understand is it's not our software that's wrong. It is the industry. Okay, that's the exact same number you would see in an illustration. It's not exact, but close to. And it's also the same number you're going to see in any other software program because of the way the backtesting method is. So it ranks all of the methods by best to worst. It shows you a nice chart here, the variance between the best to the worst. And then it also will give you what we call our diversification optimizer. So you can literally print this page out and it's going to show you different allocation options. And you can just literally put that in front of your client and say, pick which one you want. Now, obviously, again, these rates of return are super high. Let's talk about that for a second. What's going on and why these rates of return are so high and why you've seen super high rates over the last probably year and a half is because the method is wrong. So let me show you exactly why that method is wrong. So sorry about that. My iPad keeps talking to me. So I'm going to turn on a quick PowerPoint here. So what's going on is this. If you're looking at an index, okay, so this case, the 10-year treasury, if you're looking at an index and you look at today's par rates, which let's say, and forget this is the 10-year treasury, just any index, and you got 10 years of performance. What's happening is the carriers are using this NAIC model. So it's not the carrier's fault. They have to do this. They're taking today's par rate and they're throwing that up against the last 10 years or a 10-year period in the past. And you just can't do that. That's not what people are going to live through. Okay. Nobody's going to buy an index annuity, wait 10 years to find out what the rates are, and then have all the interest calculated backwards. Well, that's how backtests work. They're taking today's rates and they're putting up against a period in the past and saying, well, this is what it would have done in a real market environment. But that's not accurate, guys. What we have to know is in this exact 10-year time period, what was the par rate at the beginning of the 10 years? It's just logic. If you think about it, it makes sense. If you want to know what somebody really would have had, you need to know what that par rate is back then, and then do your sequence of return moving forward. And that's what retro pricing does. What retro pricing is, it's a calculation method that we've come up with where we use an actuarial algorithm to pinpoint exactly where the par rates, cap rates, spread rates would have been 10 years ago. So right now it's only available on any point to point. So any cap, spread, par, point to point, which is most of the strategies, it's going to tell you where it was. So if you look at some of these, like this NASDAQ FC, it was launched on 1/29 of 2020. Well, how in the world can we can't call Athene and say, hey, what were your par rates back in 2014? The index didn't even exist back then. So how can we do this? Well, that's why we're using a calculation method, because we can take exactly how they're pricing it today and then look at it in the past and change the economic data. What moves rates? Bonds, treasuries, volatility. So what we do is we take the exact way they're pricing it today, we change the volatility, the bonds, and the treasury rates to be what it was 10 years ago. And then we replace it, and then our software goes to work and runs the algorithm to find out exactly where they would have priced it back then. Now, we have vetted this, guys. We didn't just say trust us. We literally went and had face-to-face meetings with most of the index providers like S&P, Goldman Sachs, UBS, HSBC, BNP, MSCI. We literally sat in their office in New York and ran through exactly how this calculation method works, and every one of them gave us a thumbs up. They said this is the way our indexes should be represented. The lady from Barclays, who I consider to be one of the top minds in our industry, said that we were 1 or 2 basis points away from being dead on accurate. So that being said, we've now programmed that retro pricing into our system where it's just a button. You turn retro pricing on and view the report. Now you scroll down, you can see now the rates of return are coming down to earth. They're more like what people actually experience. And you can see the diversification optimizer now is much more in line with what people can expect in these products. And the thing is, these rates seem even a little high, but the thing is, the products are better now. Okay, these products are still really, really good. 11s and 12s, that's a little high, but that's what they're doing. If you got an illustration from Athene right now, they wouldn't even illustrate some of these really good indexes. They would go down to the bottom of the list here just to not make their illustrations look crazy. So this is a much more accurate way, and you can have integrity with your clients by showing them this. I mean, this is a huge breakthrough in our industry. Now, these 12s and 10s here, we're not done yet, because all retro pricing is done is pinpoint where the par rates were 10 years ago. That's at the start of the sequence of return. Well, more than likely, those rates wouldn't have held. Now, a lot of these are volatility control indexes, so they wouldn't have moved a lot, but they still would have moved. We still have volatility over the last 10 years. So now we can go back into our menu here and we can put a drawdown in. I'll put a 15% drawdown in. What this is doing now is it's saying, okay, you can have 176 in the first year because that's contractually guaranteed, but we're going to reduce that by 15% for years 2 through 10. So now we're simulating rate reductions, and you can do it at 3 different levels. You can do a 15, a 30, or 60 and get those returns back down to earth, but still using the best performing indexes in the or index strategies in the product. So this is a way that you can really shine a light on the truth of what's happened. It is a real back test, because what we're showing is if somebody would have bought this 10 years ago, what would they really have experienced? So using retro pricing is essential to your business, because now you don't have to play any games of, well, I know the illustration says 20%, but you can expect 5 to 7. Guys, that's good that you're doing that if that's what you're doing, because you are setting better expectations, but you don't have any data to back that up. Now you do have data to back that up. you can put that really high drawdown on, and now look at this. Now we have a wonderful report that you can print out and just show your client and say, all right, which one do you want to do? So now that allocation page becomes really easy. The client looks at it and says, well, I really want to be diversified. I like this one here, this top three. So let's do this 50, 25, 25. And the historical return is 7.79. Fantastic. Now we've got a really good allocation plan. So that's Indexalyzer. So Indexalyzer, again, if we go back to the dashboard, it's a great point of sale. You know, when you're needing to allocate, you can get the information you need. Now let's talk about Renewalizer. Renewalizer is a different animal. So you notice the tag here says it's for reviews. So this is for your review appointments. So when you're going to sit down year after year with your clients, you'll want to use Renewalizer, because what it will do, and I've already put in a case in here. So this is an actual case, by the way. It will actually run a reallocation report for you. So let me show you that real quick. So it's going to tell you what the optimal allocation in that product is compared to what your current allocation is. So it's kind of like the diversification optimizer. It gives you different looks at how that existing annuity should be reallocated. So it's really easy to add a method in. You just simply hit add FIA method, and then you plug in the next method, hit add method, and it creates this list here. Now you can also do IUL. So you can add an IUL method. It has the extra IUL features programmed into it. So you can do a reallocation on an IUL with this as well. So if we look at this, I want you to notice that you have to enter in every single option, even if there's no money allocated to it. Because that's the whole idea behind it, is do we have our money in the best place? So every time you enter in a different crediting method, you're going to see it's going to convert it instantly to a 10-year historical return. Why do we do that? Well, we want to look at that 10-year historical so we can do an accurate comparison of each strategy. And then ultimately, we're going to compare that in the end here to a brand new annuity, which is going to be what's going to make you a lot of money. So you have the ability to say, okay, right now, based on where you're allocated, you're tracking at a 2.39 historical. That's terrible. That is absolutely terrible. We go to the reallocation plan and we can see, all right, well, we could get it up to 3.42. Still not that great, guys. I mean, you know, this is an older annuity. And the reason why these rates are so low is because if you look at like the 5-year treasury, look at a chart, you're going to see, if you go back 3.5 to 4 years, you're going to see a spike in the treasuries. So that means if you go the previous 6 years, it was really flat and it was low. So what that means is we had really low options budgets back in that time period. So any product, any annuity that was bought during that time is going to have really low rates because the options budgets were so low. Now we've had this run up in the treasuries that creates a bigger options budget today. So if you have any of your existing annuities, if they're 4 years or older, more than likely they have really low rates, really bad performance, and they're also going to hit the suitability regs with most companies. You'll be able to move them, and you should move them because we can get them into much better rates, get these historical numbers up, so their probability of making money, making better returns goes through the roof. Now, we also have this explanations page. Now, in this particular case, there were no rate drops. If at any time a rate drops, so an 80% par drops to 70, okay, it will show up on this report and it'll tell you the economic reasons why. So when that client asks you, why do my rates keep going down? You know, your blanketed answers now are, well, it's the economy. Well, it's the markets, it's inflation, you know. No, guys, let's tell them exactly what's going on. It will show you where the bonds were last year to this year, where the treasuries were last year to this year, what the volatility of that index was last year to this year. And it will literally spell out, hey, if bonds are down, that could cause your rate to go down. If volatility is up, that could cause your rates to go down. How is that? Well, volatility measures how much activity is going on in the index. So it's just like if you walked into Best Buy and there's a super hot product from Apple there and everybody wants to buy it, they can raise their price on it and still sell it. If there's huge demand, it's economics 101. There's huge demand, the prices go up. Well, in our world, if volatility is higher, that means there's huge demand on that index. They're going to raise the price to purchase the option that backs the index. So if volatility is up, that could really cause a rate to go down. So this report will show that. Now let's get to the new annuity. So we can add then a new annuity in here. You pick your state, pick your age, put in your surrender value, and then you just select your new product. And then you want to do retro pricing and definitely have a drawdown on there. And oh yeah, that's right. Hold on. I let me put that at 10,000 because it got below the minimum. I did that before. I should have caught that. Come on. Let's put it at 20. Annuity. Why is this not pressing? Yes. Sorry about this, guys. There we go. What happened was it knows the minimum premium. So when I put this in and then I do an allocation mix here, then what happens is we go in and we do the comparison, and you'll see now this is going to be really funky because I put that 100,000 in, but it's going to show you the current, where it's current tracking, the optimal, and then what the new annuity can do. And it puts it on a chart, and it just makes it, you just print it out and you walk in there and it just makes the sale for you guys. I mean, it literally puts side by side together exactly what's going on with your existing allocation, your optimal, and then going into a new annuity. So it literally makes the sale for you. So that is Renewalizer. Now, I want to talk about some of the changes that are coming with the Renewalizer. Right now, you can just do a case, get your printout, and you're done. Well, I'd say about a month from now, we're going to be launching some enhancements where you're going to be able to save your cases. So what this is going to do is going to create a list of your annuities, and it's going to be in chronological order based on the month and day. So it's going to tell you what annuities you've got coming up for review, and you'll be able to see if they're 4 years or older, it's actually going to highlight those. So you're going to know if you've got some potential new sales coming. And then it's going to store the information. So all you have to do is grab that client statement, that 11-month statement, plug in the new rates, you're all done. It's going to be so quick and easy. And it's literally going to manage your entire annuity portfolio. So that's Renewalizer. Let me jump into Chartalyzer real quick. I just want to show you this. This is great marketing and pre-sale information. It's so easy to run. All you do is select the index you want to look at. We'll look at like CIBC here. Hit display chart, and you've got the most current 10 years. So that brings me to another point here, guys. With all of our systems, every closing price on the 200 plus indexes that we track is updated every day. And then as rates change with the carriers, they automatically hit because we get the information, and as soon as they change, they're put in. So everything is current and up to date as of yesterday's close. So it gives you a nice chart of the CIBC balance asset 10, and then look at this chart. It puts it up against the Indexalyzer average. So that black line there, that black line represents every single index that it's ever been in a product or is in a product. So it's like the index on FIA and IUL indexes, okay? So that shows you the average of how they've performed, and then it puts each individual index up against the average. So now you can walk in and show your client, this is an above average index. Or if you're selling against somebody, you can run their indexes and see if they have any below average. So like if we look at, let's look at the Mosaic. Let's look at the Mosaic. That's a very popular index. If you look at it here, that one is a below average index. It's underperformed the average. So it's a really powerful tool to use. Let me go back to that CIBC because it's a great for marketing pieces, pre-sale. It's also good for reviews, guys, because I know a lot of you have used some of these quote unquote spoke indexes or custom indexes, vol control indexes, and you feel like you've gotten burned because they went down right away. Well, let's talk about it. Look at the chart. Look what happened to this index. From 2014 up here to 2021, it had one of the biggest bull runs we've ever seen. And then right around 21, 22 here, where everything got popular in our industry, all these new indexes came out. Everybody jumped into them because the back testing looked so good. It actually looked too good because they weren't using retro pricing. But everybody jumped in, and then boom, the indexes collapsed. They dropped. So it's like, oh, geez, the back testing is good, but the live data is terrible. No, it's not what happened. What happened was during this time frame, you had the bond market was horrible. And then you also have one of the biggest sell-offs in Wall Street's history. Because if you're managing money and you get up to this point, you're going to take some profit. So that's what happened. They started selling, selling, selling. So all those underlying assets inside the index started to drop. The index goes to cash. So the bonds were terrible and everything started dropping. Now look what's happened. We get here to 2022, 2023, and it started to level out. And now we're going back up. Well, what's going on? Well, all those big money managers on Wall Street are buying the underlying assets because they saw a good buying opportunity. So now that's shooting the index back up. Guys, with index annuities, you're going to have 0 years. You just are. Just because you have a 0 year in the first year doesn't mean it's a bad index. It just means one of your zeros hit in the first year. It's still a great index. Imagine if you'd have bought it back in 2014. Well, you might be saying, well, yeah, but this index wasn't around then. Well, understand that these indexes are rules-based indexes or indices. What that means is they set the rules on how the index runs, plug it into a computer, and the computer runs the index. There's no human interference. That's the way they can go back in time. They go back 20, 30 years if they want, because the same rules are going to apply to all those underlying assets in the index back then. So that is good data, even though it's not live data, it's still good data because it is not a human interfered index. There's indexes out there like from BlackRock, the Claria. They have a team of people that come in, and what they do is they look at the index and they make decisions. It's human interference. Well, with almost 98% of the indices in these products, they're all rules based. So they're ran by a computer. Okay. Well, we got a little time here. Let me go back to the dashboard, and I want to show you Indexalyzer really quick. It's a really simple format. You just select your product, and then you plug in what's the latest MIGA rate, what's the best bond rate. And these links here can take you to where you can get current rates, CD rates, bond rates. Put in a tax rate because your CDs and bonds are not tax deferred, and you just add the new annuity. And then, oh, that Invesco's going crazy. Look at that. Let's just do a 25, 25, 25, 25 split here. And then boom, you got your chart. So now it's going to compare your index annuity with the allocations to MIGAs and CDs and bonds. So it's a great tool to use to show that client that just wants to have, security, but they don't know if they want to take the risk of an index annuity. You can show them how the index annuity is historically the best fixed performing product we've ever seen. Okay, so those are the products. We have Calculyzer and Diversilyzer. Those are coming soon. We always show you what we're working on. Now I want to jump into Splitalyzer. This is the one that's exclusive to IAMS. Okay, so what I want to do is show you another PowerPoint real quick here. So what this is let's say you were buying a SILAC product, okay? So you're going to do a diversification here. You're going to do 35% into the next gen NASDAQ or NASDAQ Gen 5. You're going to go 25% into the S&P Duo Swift, 10% into the S&P Raven Pack, and then 30% into the S&P 500. I know, the S&P 500 right now is on sale. It's got some great rates out there. But understand, if the VIX starts to run, which is the volatility index, if volatility starts to run, there's no vol control on the S&P 5. If volatility goes up by 1%, guys, you could see as high as a 10 or 15% drop in par rate. In the S&P 500, it can have, a 15 or 20% volatility change year by year. That's why you've seen in the past, your S&P 500 is like, oh, it's great in the beginning, and then they go down to the minimums on the renewals. Well, that's why, because it's so volatile. So what we're suggesting here is that 30% that you were going to put in the S&P 500 inside your, and I just use SILAC as an example, whatever, growth accumulation product you like to sell. We're going to say, let's don't put that 30% in SILAC. Let's take it out of SILAC and put those dollars into this exclusive product at IAMS from SBLI, Savings Bank Life Insurance. You guys, this is such a great strategy. It just makes sense. By taking that 30% over to SBLI, what you're going to do then is put it 100% into the S&P 500. Because right now on SBLI, on their 5-year product, you can lock in a 60% par rate. So now your S&P allocation is going to stay at 60%. Volatility doesn't matter. Treasuries going down, bonds going down, doesn't matter. You're locking that in for 5 years. So then back at SILAC, you would just take that 30% and then you would reallocate it to those different options, but you're only going to have 70% of the client's total money at SILAC. So you're splitting the ticket, which can do a lot of great things. Number one, it can increase liquidity for the client, because instead of a 10-year product, having all the money in the 10-year, going off of that surrender charge schedule, you're now over an SBLI. At the end of 5 years, you're going to have all that money available. So you're increasing liquidity. You might be thinking, okay, commissions. Am I going to take a hit on commissions? Yes, you'll take a small hit at the beginning, but in year 5, you're going to rebuy that SBLI. So you're going to get another hit, and you're going to get it on the growth of the SBLI. So you'll actually make more money. It's just going to spread it out over a 5-year period. And then the other big thing it does, again, is it locks in that SBLI par rate on the S&P. So we have developed this product, or a tool called Splitalyzer. So you can watch a video on it here, or you can download it. So I've got it launched here, and I'm going to show you exactly how to use it. So let's say our total premium is $250,000. Now, how much are we allocating to the S&P? Let's say it's 30%. So now it tells us we're putting 75,000 of that 250 in the S&P. So the SBLI 5-year par rate right now is 60%. Now let's say we're going to use, let's use Equitrust as our example. And we'll do the market value. So now what we do is we're going to break away from the spreadsheet. We're going to go into Indexalyzer. And let's say, again, market value is the product you like to sell. So we're going to go to Equitrust. And we'll go to market value. And I'm going to set that drawdown at 0. No retro pricing right now. So we're going to view the report. We're going to scroll down here. We're going to see on that annual point-to-point S&P 500, it right now has a 45% par. So we're going to go back to Splitalyzer, and we're going to enter that in at 45% par rate. Now what we need to look at is the retro pricing par rate, okay? Because that's what we're still doing a back test here, and we want to do the accurate back test. So now we're going to just go back to Indexalyzer, open that menu up, turn on retro pricing, view the report. We're going to scroll down and see on that same S&P, right there it is at the bottom, it's 15%. So now we pull in our Splitalyzer, we put in our 15% retro, and then it's going to calculate then the retro off of the 60. So now we're doing apples to apples, and then we're going to put our drawdown in. Let's say 45%, because again, that S&P is really volatile. It probably will not hold that par rate. So that 45%, again, going to get this closer to apples, because over the last 10 years, we would have definitely seen a drop in rate in the S&P, because we had so much volatility with that big bull run. So now it's just telling you SBLI wins by 1.17, or it's going to get the client an extra $9,217. And it shows the two growths here. So Equitrust, it shows the growth on what the S&P option would have been. And then it shows the SBLI, because the SBLI does a high water mark, and we're doing it every 5 years. So in the first 5, you made 8.97. And then the second 5, you got up to 26.02. So much better chance of winning with it, SBLI, and splitting the ticket. Another big advantage of this is if you get a bigger case, guys, you have to look it up in the state you're selling, but the Guarantee Association, if you have like a 500 or a $600,000 or $700,000 or $800,000 case, you put it all into Equitrust, up to that limit in that state is all it's protected. By splitting the ticket, you're now going to 2 different carriers. So now you actually protected the client's money even more. So you're going to make more. The client's going to lock in that big S&P, and you added more protection and more liquidity. It just makes sense. So where you find that again on Indexalyzer, if we go back to the dashboard, it's right up here in the corner. And again, this is an IAMS exclusive that we've done. So you just hit that download button and boom, you've got it. You've got it. So I know I've shared a lot of information with you this morning. I want you to know that we have got video. So this video here is also a training video. It shows you how to do it. On every one of our programs, on Indexalyzer, you can click this training video and it will walk you through exactly how to use it. We have those training videos on each and every one of our programs. So you can simply go in, click the training, and it'll walk you right through the video. I'll show you exactly how to run it. You can watch it over and over again. Our systems are really easy to use, very impactful, can give you great information, take care of about probably 80 to 85% of your cases. But if you need more, if you have that engineer or business owner or doctor, or professor, and you need more ammunition, that's where the FMO catalog comes into play. And you can go in and see all the different reports that Matt and his team at IAMS can run for you, all these custom stuff that they can do. Like if you want to do a really cool allocation strategy where you put half the money in a 2-year reset, half in a 1, and then at the end of the first year, you move the 1 into a new 2-year reset. So you stagger those 2-year resets. You can actually read about that and see an example of the printout that they can run for you. So there's a lot of information in here, a lot of things that they can do for you inside this FMO catalog. You can just click through and see all the different things that are available. The last thing before we take some questions here is I want to talk about our resources. Okay, the biggest one is the library. With the library, you have access to a ton of information, carrier information, terminology on the index. So if you're reading a fact sheet, you don't know what some things mean, you can go to the terminology glossary and say, all right, what is a Sharpe ratio? Okay, what is price return? What is index-based date, excess return? So a lot of information that you can use to learn about your craft and what you're selling. Let me tell you a quick story. We had an agent I was talking to, and I asked him about his last case, and he said he put his client into F&G. And I was like, okay, well, tell me about the client. Is he a Democrat or Republican? He goes, what does that matter? I was like, well, stay with me. He goes, actually, he's a buddy of mine. He's a staunch conservative Republican. I was like, okay, you used F&G. So did you put any money in that CIBC balanced asset 5 or 10? He goes, yeah, I did. I said, so let me get this straight. You just put a staunch conservative Republican's money into a Canadian bank. He's like, what? I'm like, yeah. If you would go in here and launch this and do some research on these index companies, you can find out all the indexes that they track, what carriers are using them, and then click that more about CIBC. You're right into their homepage on the About Us section, and you would have learned exactly who they are. So we have all that available inside of the library, and it's just a wonderful tool. All the fact sheets on the indexes. What are they investing in? What are they, if we want to know about the Goldman Sachs Zenith, you got all the information on the underlying assets and performance information. It's all right here for you to click on and just, gosh, I mean, it's just packed full of information. We have presentations for you. You got 4 presentations here. They're not carrier product specific, they're industry specific. So you can use them to help get that client excited about index annuities. And then the last thing before the questions is our Allyzer Elite package. Okay, you can actually join Allyzer Elite. You get a free ticket to the National Index Conference. You get invited to our Power Pack webinars. Every month we do a Power Pack webinar. We bring on a representative from one of the index providers. Next month is NASDAQ. Last month, I think we did Goldman Sachs. Month before was Barclays. But those are amazing. We dive into our software deeper, show you some really cool tricks, show you some great ways to present the outputs, and then you get some index education straight from the index providers. We also have a special presentation on volatility. Guys, when this S&P starts to really cool off and you start seeing those rates drop, you're going to have to go into some vol control indices if you want to keep your clients making money. Well, you're going to have to explain what that is. And this presentation on how to explain volatility is phenomenal. And we also give you a one-on-one call with me. So it's a great resource. There's an extra cost to it, but if you're already part of Allyzer since you're on this webinar, or if you've not signed up yet, we're going to offer this to you for free. It's $120 a year extra, but we're going to offer it to you for free today since you're on this webinar. So let me go through and show you where to go to get signed up. So you go in here to indexalyzer.com/IAMS, and you're going to see the agent sign up button. I want you to notice here, in the Allyzer system is $99 a month, but because you're with IAMS, you get a 75% discount. So it's down to 25 bucks a month, guys. That's all this is. I will bet that Renewalizer, when you start using it and you start looking through your book of business and finding those cases that are 4 years or older, Renewalizer is going to find you a sale. I'll bet you anything over the next 12 months, it finds you at least one sale. And if that one sale is only $15,000 in premium at a 6% commission rate, guys, that's 900 bucks. You just tripled your investment in our system, and you get everything else that goes along with it. You get that exclusive software, you get just everything I've shown you. So it's a great value at only 25 bucks a month. It will pay for itself because of Renewalizer. It's going to give you retro pricing, so now you're setting expectation, right? It's giving you everything you need to be highly successful in this industry. Okay, so Matt, I'll turn it back over to you. Guys, if you want to go out and sign up again, indexalyzer.com/IAMS, hit this agent sign up button. It'll take you in where you can put all your information in. Guys, there's no contracts. If you don't like it, you don't have to keep it. We don't lock you in for a year or anything like that. And we also even get, IAMS has negotiated with us a 30-day free trial. So you can sign up for it, kick it around, and then decide whether if it's going to work for you, which I can almost guarantee you it will. Okay.
Well, Kent, you did a great job of squeezing a lot of stuff into a short period of time there. I mean, this is a phenomenal value, guys. The people who we have using Indexalyzer are using it to close more business. I mean, just plain and simple. It makes your job easier. Kent, I didn't hear you talk about how it really helps you to act as a fiduciary for your client, but it absolutely does. So it's going to protect you against some of those changes that are threatening our industry right now. But you should be doing that anyway, to be honest. And this is a fantastic resource for you to be able to do that and just offer transparency and the best possible solution for your clients. So thank you, Kent. Really appreciate you going into all of that. We don't have any questions, guys. Now is your chance to ask. But I do have one more poll that I'm going to launch, and I'm not going to double click it this time. If you want more information on Indexalyzer, if you'd like to take advantage of the special offer that Kent had today, or you just need help getting signed up, please let me know. I see several people that are on the call today already signed up, but if you need help with that, I'd be happy to reach out to you and get you set up for that. So that is all I've got. No questions. Go ahead, Kent.
One thing I want to say, if you're on this call again and you're already with us and you're not in the Allyzer Elite, okay, please send an email to Matt. You probably have Matt's email. Matt, let us know, and we will turn that their badge on so they can be part of Allyzer Elite. So if you signed up for this before we launch that program and you want to be part of it, again, because you're on this webinar, you get it for free. Just send Matt an email. He'll let us know, and we'll get that turned on for you.
Yep, Matt S at IAMSinc.com. Matt S is in Sam at IAMSinc.com. That's IAMSINC.com. So, guys, thank you, Kent. Thank you. Appreciate the continued partnership, and we will see you guys on the next webinar. Take care.